it's Talofa, Vitale. Thank you.
Talofa.
I like that.
Great to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. Thank you so much on a Sunday afternoon. Really appreciate you coming on and chatting with Renate and myself. And we had this lovely spread of food. Help yourself, of course.
Thank you.
So you moved to New Zealand when you were 2 years of age. From Samoa.
Yes. Yeah, and we arrived, back in 1960s, and we settled in Greyland.
Wow.
Yeah,
1960s.
Yeah.
Gosh, what was Greyland like back then?
Not like it's now. Yeah. See, a lot of our families came over then because there was a big labour pool working in the factories, and it was open for families back then. So we sort of come over. We got a little house in Greyland, and that's where we grew up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what was Greyland like back in that day?
It was so when our families came here, a lot of them chased sort of the primary industries. So you either stayed in South Auckland, where there was Bluebird and the freezing works.
Yeah.
Or you went to Greyland, where there was Valtex, Tattersfield, and the waterfront. So that's why you have the Pacific families. They're either in Central or in South Auckland.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So we had family in Herne Bay, and that's where we came, and we sort of stayed with them for a little while and bought a house, and parents worked at Valtex Carpets.
Okay, so did you come over on a boat back in those days?
No, we flew over.
Flew over as well.
Yeah, so we came.
I love you.
Yeah.
Did you come over on a boat?
Yeah. It's called a Contiki. Yeah, so we came. A lot of families came. So the borders opened up because New Zealand was going through basically labour shortage of factories and so forth. So that's where our parents come, and
nice.
And it was good times, hard times, really hard times. Because when I first started school, I couldn't speak a word of English.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, I was in the same boat as
you.
Yeah, I
couldn't
moved
speak
over
English.
here. So how did you cope?
Not well. Yeah,
No.
well, back then it was a lot of. I guess you get bullied and marginalised, it's just the way it was.
Even back then.
Back then,
Wow.
yeah. So and then you lived because our home was like a base.
Yeah.
So we had aunties, uncles, and a little house with 15, 20 people.
Wow.
Because they used it as a base so they can settle into New Zealand as well.
I love that, and that is it's quite cultural, isn't it? That as a Samoan culture, you really look after the family, your aunties, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews, the cousins, and everybody. You know, you will cram everybody in a house, but that's what you do, is just showing support and love, and if somebody who's coming over here that doesn't know anything, helping them, and then they can move on.
So they can move on.
It's really beautiful.
So we had a little place there, and started school, a little place called Herne Bay, Kaumana Avenue. It was a little Catholic school there. Yeah.
Wow.
But it was tough. It was really tough. It's still there.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So all our kids go there as well. And,
that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went there in St. Paul's College. So it was all Catholic schools in the Greyland area. But it was really hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. You know, you live in poverty. It's just hardship. And when you've got parents that come here and they can't speak the English, there's no contacts. You didn't have Google back then, so it was real hardship. It was really hard, and I guess because of that, it sort of formed your own belief systems and the way you are as a person going forward. So you learn things around hardship, poverty, living and understanding each other. You know, and tolerances and things like that. So it's you formed your own early values, I guess, and set your belief systems that you can go on and live your life with those. So it was really.
So do you think going through those hard times, has it helped you with what you're doing now?
Yeah, in terms of resilience, but also more around the diversity and inclusiveness thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because
that's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So little things trigger your life and trigger the person you become, and research shows that early exposure and also your early years of growing really do set your beliefs and the values you have as a person and going forward. So that sort of set me in terms of my beliefs and my Christian beliefs, and so
Okay.
But when I left school, it's because you spend so much time at home. Your parents are working six days a week, 2 jobs. Sundays always rest in church.
Yeah.
So all the kids got to roll their sleeves up.
Yeah.
And
get into it.
and look after younger siblings and look after grandparents and then you're just running around and doing odd jobs to just to support and give. For the ainga, for the family.
I really love that.
Yeah, and then when you leave, and then being marginalised early age and so forth. So when you leave, when I left as a 17-year-old Pacifica youth, no qualifications, didn't have time for homework, and then I was into the labour markets. My first job was a labourer for the old Ministry of Works.
Yeah. How long did you do that for?
A number of years.
Yeah.
But you get to a point where I guess you're just looking for that something else in life. And you never know what the future is, and you've got to determine, what is it, what's your purpose, and because I'm very, my belief systems are always around service and duty, because when you watch your parents, they sacrifice so much, so it's all around service, it's all around duty, it's around values. Yeah. And when I was labouring, it just didn't offer me or provide that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you find your next?
Yes, your next
it was
big
funny,
adventure.
really, because having nothing. But I always wanted to really test myself, and I was going to work and I heard this advert, and it was the first time ever they were advertising for the SAS, and I didn't even know what it was, but I knew it had something to do with guns because it was a New Zealand advert, New Zealand Army advert.
Yeah.
So I thought, what's this? So I went along, and long story short, over 16 months, there were over 300 applicants, and they opened it up to the public because there was so much attrition through the Malaya and the Vietnam War. So they said, okay, well, let's try to see what's out there.
Yeah.
So I went along, and over 16 months, 4 of us managed to get through.
Out of 300 people.
Yeah.
That's massive. That's a big achievement.
A huge achievement.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Hard.
Oh, it was hard. It was pretty tough.
Yeah.
But
did you get to sort of be away from your family a lot, or were you able to go home after every day?
Yeah, in those early days, yes. But I guess it was just there were things around the army and the values that really aligned with mine. And I kind of found what I was looking for, just a professionalism, and also the values of the SAS. There was just something there that really belonged.
Okay, you felt at home.
Yeah.
How old were you when you actually went?
22.
22. That's a good age to actually try out, isn't it?
It is, because you're mature enough, and you're not
and you're still fit
young,
and strong.
Had a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be fit to
So where did you go?
Through.
Did you travel with it overseas, or were you based in New Zealand?
No, based in New Zealand. Based in New Zealand, and I just enjoyed my time there. I'm still part of that family.
Yeah.
Lifelong,
as you probably
isn't it?
will be, I was going to say, for life kind of thing,
But I reflect back on my early years and coming with nothing but trying to find that something.
Yeah.
Because there's something there for everyone.
Of course.
It really is. And when I found an organisation that aligned with my own beliefs and values, I thought, I've got to be part of this. So I guess in the difference in terms of the 4 and the 300, to me it wasn't a job. To me, I didn't want to go back to that.
Yeah.
So it was more passion.
It was. I saw this as my life.
Your life, right?
So it wasn't like I can go back and do something else.
No.
I thought, this was part of me that I wanted to belong.
Okay.
And I found it, and I stayed. Yeah.
And how long did you stay for?
Total of 7 years.
Yeah.
And then another passion was police, and that came along.
So that was next. Your next
that
adventure.
was next.
30 odd years in the police force.
Yeah, hard case. When you say it like
Holy heck.
That's my whole life.
I mean, it's
And
been.
then some.
What's the good thing about it? It's been about 37 years. I never had to pay for any clothes to go to work. It was all supplied.
The same.
Wow.
I love that. Yes.
2 years. So you were based Auckland?
Yeah, based all over Auckland primarily. A little stint in Wellington.
Yeah.
When I went down on a secondment, but a lot of it was just here. So my last posting was Counties Manukau.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your favourite sort of place for you to work?
Oh, everywhere really.
Is there
Auckland's
such a thing?
so
So
diverse.
different,
You know, you got North Shore, you got Auckland City, and you got Counties Manukau.
So you were frontline first. Everybody's got to go
frontline,
frontline, and then what did you do after that?
So I went frontline. Then I went into CIB, which is serious crime, and I worked there for a number of years, and then armed defenders and.
Oh, wow.
And terrorists, you worked with the Special Tactics Group. You were the first. I have it written down because you were just so impressive, and I've got it here. You were the first Samoan Police Commander.
Era Commander, yeah.
Era Commander.
Yeah.
Detective Senior Sergeant.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Hello here. Inspector in Command, Special Tactics, Anti-Terrorist Group, Armed Defenders Squad, and you were the only police officer to command all New Zealand police tactic squads.
Kind of, yeah. That's really funny, that, isn't it? Yeah,
That's amazing.
I'm sorry about that. Whoa. Your achievements. I mean, when I read them and I was researching you, I thought, it's a bit intimidating. You're fascinating. I mean, and you're very I find you incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
You know, on paper and as I've met you as a person. And what was that like? I mean, the first Samoan police officer. You know, you went at how old were you when you went at about 30?
Yeah. So it's a funny thing, really, because a lot of people, they say, well, you were the first this, the first this. But when I look at it, is that, I joined a job to be the best I could be as a person. And I never looked at the colour of my skin, if that makes sense. So I just tried to be, if I was in the Armed Defender Squad, I just wanted to be the commander. Right. I just wanted to be a detective inspector. I just wanted to do these things. But then as time went on, people saying, the communities were saying, look, you're the first Samoan, but where I never looked at it like that.
No, but did other people look? Did they give you problems?
No. It was just highlighting something that I never recognised.
Yeah.
I never went there to be the first Samoan, the first Pacifica. I just went there to do a good job.
Yeah.
And but coming with that was the fact that, hey, I have got brown skin, and so it was an acceptance, acknowledgement, and awakening. Because to me, I'm a Kiwi.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't compartmentalised, and didn't stop me from doing things because I felt it was, I was a first of this and that and everything else. Yeah. But it just came with it, and I thought, that's good recognition.
Yeah.
But it was never a driving force. But also what I found is organisations and society expect different people to be different things. And I say that in Pacific offices, with youth aid and community work, and different they'll compartmentalised.
Right.
Where what I looked at is I don't fit into that.
Okay, you don't.
I just do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So do you agree with how they do that? Like, I can't even say that word. Compartmentalise.
Yeah, it's.
The different
I think
groups?
because a lot society expect a certain group to be good at this and good at that and good at everything else. Where I was saying is, well, actually no, I'm just going to be my own person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love it. Yeah.
So I can be SGG commander. I can be. I just follow what I want to do.
Okay,
rather than think, you'll be good at this or you'll be good at that. You just follow what's there and here.
Okay.
Doesn't matter who you are, what you've done. And I found that, but you got to be strong to say, well, no, actually no.
Yeah.
I want to follow this path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So do a lot of people sort of hold themselves back, do you think, of culture to sort of because people are telling them they're only good at certain areas?
I think it's it depends what you really, really want to do. And what I found is that I don't. I'm a bit of a maverick, you know. Like I actually don't care. Like SAS, it's who dares wins.
Yeah.
So
That's
I've just fallen in my life. You know, I've come with nothing.
Yeah.
Growing up in Grey Lynn, unskilled, no qualifications, but I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, I can actually do that.
Yeah.
So whatever I want to do, I'll do.
You strive for it.
I strive for it. Yeah, no,
you
you
couldn't.
yeah. So even my family, some of them couldn't believe that I was actually went through the SAS, let alone do what I do.
So you didn't tell them when you were going through
I don't go
it?
into detail, but they, when they find out, they go, really, you're too soft-natured for that.
Yeah.
And when I do keynote on leadership, and they bring up my profile, and the feedback afterwards when I'm doing Q&As, we never expected a articulate, warm person to be standing there. Maybe they're expecting a cigar and boom, 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 boom. You know, so people stereotype and they anticipate different things. Where I'm saying, well, actually, no, you know, and it's leadership or person doesn't, you don't know until you really explore that. That makes sense.
Yeah, of course it makes sense. It's really good. It's a good way of seeing things and doing things.
Yeah, so it's sort of set me right, and the value's really strong.
Yeah.
In terms of leadership.
And that's what you're doing now, isn't it?
Yeah, so I keynote for leadership and motivation, and a lot of it's community based. But leadership to me is around values. Yeah. It's all value-based leadership.
Those values into
of course, and I've only got 4 really that I share, and it's humility, humour, honesty, and respect.
Oh, love.
Yeah,
That's really
and I just use those in terms of my everyday dealings with everyone.
Yeah.
And as long as I acknowledge those 4, and it's just set me right in terms of what I've done over the years, and it's worked.
Yeah, and you find when you're actually telling people and teaching or like sharing that with other people, they understand, and do you see them actually taking that on board?
Yeah, value-based leadership. Yeah, it does, and it's all around leadership and people and your lives blend, and people separate the two sometimes, and they try to be leaders that really they're not, and also they talk a lot about organisational values. But what are they? Are they life values? And what do they do with them on wars, on intranets? And it's all around this and that, but what do they actually mean? And really, people, do they read them? So there's what I've found in recent times is it's really based around values. A lot of organisations are bringing those values back.
So you think a good leader will do that? Like, what makes a good leader in your eyes?
A good leader in my eyes is how you treat people. And would you treat your mother or your grandmother or your sister differently from somebody at work? Yeah. And it's all, for me, it's based around those 4 values. Yeah. And humour is always good because it's self-depreciating and you can have a laugh. Yeah. And people and it sort of just warms, it just lifts the mood.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so I always use humour and a smile, and I just find whether I'm the area commander or whatever, it's just a cool way to get things done.
Yeah. And when you were a police officer, did you find in your community that you got that respect, that you treated people, whoever they were and whatever they did, with the same respect?
Yeah.
Or did you find it challenging with certain people?
No.
Or you just overall you just treated everybody the same, so you also got that respect?
Yeah. It's quite reciprocal. But then you can go into organisations, which I'm sure we've all been in, where it's written on the walls and everything, but they treat their people like...
There's always one or two of them, eh?
Yeah. And
they try and challenge you. Yeah.
And to me, like, respect, because it's just something simple like respect and being mindful. Because we all have bad days, eh? We've got mortgages to pay, kids, but whenever we come to work, then you check your emotions and your mood, that they always expect the leader to come in and just treat people with respect. And if you do that, then it's fine, but you do have other people that just come in and they have a bad day, so the whole office is going to have a bad day.
Right, we've experienced that a little bit.
And it's energy, energy that people give off as well. I mean, if somebody can walk into a room and change a room with their energy, whether it's quite a heavy energy or a light energy, it's very dependent on the person. I mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you sort of like help people, help teach them how to sort of set that apart?
Like mentor.
Yeah, like mentor them and how best to sort of like leave your home life at home and.
It's really hard though.
Yeah.
It's really tough, and I guess from a leader you have to really show that empathy.
Yeah.
And that understanding, because you're the staff, they're going through some real hard stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easier for you when you're on the other side. So you just got to be really reflective of that.
Yeah.
Sorry. So do you find since COVID and all the things that's happened around COVID and more people being locked down and isolated and financial, that you're finding with what you're doing, it's a lot more difficult for people to, be more positive when there's so much more stress on everybody's lives and livelihoods and people losing houses and their work and... It's
tough. It's really tough. And I've done a few podcasts around just resilience, but what does it look like,
Because everyone's different,
really different.
Yeah. And how we respond.
And to me, it's just keeping your mind open, and things that I've done over the years has always having an open mind towards things, and sure, we can do that. Yeah, no sweat. It's just, and now when there is a lot of gloom around the place, so. And really appreciating what you have.
Yeah. Always being grateful.
Always being grateful. Really saying, okay, well, I'm still alive, and I've got my family, because I got quite sick for a period of time there, and you spend a lot of time at home by yourself, just reflecting, but it was always good to reset.
Yeah.
Because I thought I had it hard back in the early 80s when I went through the SAS. When I got sick years later in my 50s. I had to reset, and I had to reprioritise, and that was harder than back then.
And you had to accept almost what was happening, and realising that you're not the same person as you were then, but in your mind you are.
Yeah.
So you've got to sort of bring it back
and,
to this.
And life's a journey where you think it's all over, but it's not.
Yeah.
In terms of challenges, and COVID brings that up. Who knew about COVID, and who knew I was going to get sick and have really big health issues that basically meant I lost my job, and then I had to
sorry about that.
It was just illness, and so I left police because I was ill.
So sorry to hear.
But then I sat at home for 18 months not long ago and had to reset again and reflect and had to draw on all that strength I had back then, but this was harder, and then go, well, what's the future like, and then COVID struck, and it was
Be quite scary, can't it?
It is scary.
It is scary.
Especially with the illness, because you're not sure what's ahead.
Yeah.
And then just making the most of each day that.
And also being mindful, because you take people with you on that journey. It's not just you; it's your family, it's your friends supporting you, and you can become quite insular in terms of your thinking and your feelings. And COVID brought that, and illness brings that, and challenges bring that, and it's not just about you.
No.
Because it doesn't matter how long. Or it doesn't matter how life goes, and you're a parent, you still have to be a parent.
You
still have to
be,
and I was sick and all that, but then I had to come out and face the kids, and nothing. You don't have time out.
No,
but they're still looking at you as a role model. As how you're going to go through those times, because they're going to get sick. They're going to have those troubles too. Wow. And then they reflect back on you and say, well, he was a leader at work, but what was he doing at home, sitting there with, whatever he was doing.
Right.
So parenting, that's what it is. And my kids are all adults now, but just testing times.
So did the kids obviously knew you were going through illnesses?
Oh yeah.
But you showed them how to get through it with strength rather than...
But just being, it's really tough, but you've got to show some vulnerabilities too.
Yes,
but then parenting, whether they're babies or whether they're 30-year-olds, there's no break there. But they're still looking at you to be that person, because in the years to come they're going to be sick. They're going to have problems as well. And what did we teach them? It's really tough. It's really tough,
especially if you're feeling really weak at the time. You still need to show that strength because you want to have them looking
and
back
fear,
and go,
like if
what
you're
did my
scared,
dad do? It was all good. He pulled through. I'm going to pull through. Yeah.
So it's a tough one. Not that I'm here to talk about parenting, but it's.
Hey, we talk about whatever we want. We are totally unscripted. We got no idea how the show goes.
So that's what happened with me, and I spent 18 months with the stroke unit, but I did voluntary work too. I worked as a volunteer for the stroke unit just to open it up to Pacific communities because they sit at home and the Dainga looks after them, but there's so much information and so much support there that's open to our communities. So I was an ambassador for them, and with the Heart Foundation, I just had to use my time, really positively.
So is it teaching the families that there's actually still help outside
in
the community, so they're not trying to deal with it all on their own?
That's it.
I was about to say, so with the Samoan community or with your families, do you find that you don't tend to outsource, that you feel like you can heal yourself with, I don't know, prayer or culturally, or is there medicines that you kind of go through then helping?
I think there's opportunities there, and people like myself, like I was also on the board for Camp Quality, which deal with child cancer. And it's open to, all these facilities are open to children under 16 years of age. And when it comes to our Pacifica and Māori communities, just so little uptake. So I went on radio a few years ago just trying to promote that. Because it's all free, it's available. Why aren't we using it? Because it has no bias, cancer. So it's just doing something just to educate.
Let them know them,
yeah, of course.
There's other help. They don't have to do it all on their own.
I don't have to do it all on their own. So that's been part of my journey.
Wow. Yeah. So whatever you do, whatever happens to you, you just have this positive flip on it, and you go into everything like head on.
No, I know
you
I'm
really
sick.
go into it.
But you do have to take time out for yourself and let yourself heal from the inside out.
Yeah, and I've been told that by the family and by close friends that it's okay to grieve a little. So and it really is. They crack on. Let's get this done. I learned a lot about that in the last 5 years, and it's been very positive. And not so hard on different people and stuff, and driving myself, and it's been good. It's been really cool.
I think our whole life is about learning. We're learning things every day, Nobody knows it all.
No.
If they think they do, well,
and the issues are real. They're really real issues that impact us as people. So and now I'm on the other side and supporting my kids and grandparent now. So
you've got one grandson.
And the 3 kids all working and partners and stuff.
So you got 3.
Yeah, 3.
Children,
Yeah. So Alex, she's 28.
Yeah.
And she's the mother. And they've got their own little house around the corner from us.
Oh, I love nice and close.
Yeah. And Dylan, he's coming up 26, and he's still at home with his partner, and Helena, she's at home as well.
Okay, you must have started young when you had kids.
No. So we had Alex, Dylan, and Helena, and their 3 partners. So there were 6 of us plus us 2, 8.
In
Plus
the same house.
Plus a German Shepherd. So there were 8 of us. And
I love it's family. I love the way you guys do it.
And then they left, and then Alex bought a house 2 years ago, so she's gone with Caleb and baby, and we still got the other 2 and partners.
Now, did anybody follow your footsteps into the police force or the army?
No,
Nobody was driven to follow Dad?
None of them, no.
Are you disappointed about that? Or
No, God, no. God, I'm glad they didn't.
Really?
Yeah, no, really.
Why are you glad they didn't?
Because they're much better off doing what they're doing.
Okay,
to
so
be
they've
honest.
got good jobs.
No, they're really cool. So Alex, she's a doctor at North Shore, and Dylan's a lawyer. He works for the Waitangi Treaty Tribunal. So he does litigation. Better than cops, I tell you. Yeah. Honestly, and my baby, she's a employment contract manager for Ministry of Social Development.
Wow, very successful.
See why I didn't want them to be cops.
No,
And at my wife, she was in the police for 34 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she worked in HR.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did 30, she did 34, so no, we didn't want cops in our family.
In 1996, I applied for the police force.
Oh.
And I was
You would have been a cool cop.
What
I
happened?
went away from going to Wellington and I decided I wasn't ready. So then in 2001, I enrolled in the army and I did the tests and I was sworn in, just about ready to go on my camp, and I found out I was pregnant with my first. So I didn't follow through with that either.
Oh, wow.
So the whole fitness test I did, I was actually pregnant and I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
They're pretty hard, those tests,
Yeah,
I mean,
they are.
I know full well that. I mean, I've always fantasized about it as far as it's gone.
I would have
there's
loved. I was going to do
the
be a
fitness
driver.
things.
Yeah, oh, well, that's good. I'm glad that happened. You're in a better place now, tell me. Oh, our
Yes,
army
I had 5
police.
kids instead. Yeah.
Yeah, you got your own army, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, no. So it's everything's. My health is good, and
Oh,
and now my journey starts again. Really, I'm just happy doing my little business there, which
Do you
is
want to tell us about your
yeah. So
business,
it's called
or-
Impactful Conversations, and yeah, it's I set that up about a year or two ago, and I do keynote leadership and motivation.
You've just recently done a...
Yeah, just done it
Yes,
TEDx.
TEDx, yes, TEDx.
Gosh. Yes, I got invited onto that 3 months ago. So they're this invite-only sort of thing. So they must have seen and
What is
So
TEDx?
Yeah, tell
so
us.
that's
Is it a company or is it
TED
a-
Talks. Have you heard of
Yeah,
TED
yeah.
Talks?
TED
Yeah,
Talks,
yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so TED Talks is that's a platform,
Yeah.
and if it's done outside America, X stands for Geographic Independent.
Oh, okay.
So it's a TED Talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you stand up and
That's
people
awesome.
actually there.
Yeah. So
maybe
we
like
had the
eight-
little
how many-
So it's just like you see on YouTube. It's their
Okay.
platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, it was 3 months of making because you got to get it.
Wow,
You see,
really?
I've never been coached as a keynote. Yeah.
Oh, holy
yeah.
heck.
So,
So you
this-
just
find
put
that
yourself-
nervous?
so I got invited on, and it was about 10 weeks of just rehearsal. Great people because all voluntary. So I was assigned to speaking coaches,
Yeah.
and then we just went through the script. And I normally talk for 45 minutes, and we had to get it down to under 20 because it's on YouTube.
Wow.
What they say is if it goes for longer, people lose interest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you go on
I
there
guess
10,
so,
15
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
So they try to keep it around 15, 18 minutes, or else
Yeah.
people look at it and just...
Click
you know.
off.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I do with 5 of us that spoke, and I spoke about the invisible leader.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my talk.
Invisible leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What is that?
Yeah.
That,
If you
it's,
don't
not,
mind.
it's not like they're looking for you and you're never there. Where is he?
Invisible. I'm here, but I'm invisible.
I like that.
What I found is just because of my nature, I'm quite quiet, but also it's around that humility set where as you grow as a leader, you become basically less hands-on,
Right.
and it's fellowship, and fellowship are people that follow you as a leader. And as it matures and as you go through the cycle, you enable your followers to transition forward to be leaders themselves. And how does that work? You know, how do you do that as a leader? Because they can't follow forever. And the more you do that, the more invisible you become as a leader, and then you
And
become a
lead them
coach.
Right. So they find their
Yeah,
own
so
way.
it's a maturity of leadership. They can take a cyclic. So as you grow in your leadership, then the people you that follow you, you become more of a mentor and coach, and you lose that leadership role,
Gotcha.
and then it's just coaching, pushing people forward, and it's a transition between fellowship and leadership.
Okay.
And it's
Wow.
and I term it the invisible leader.
Yeah, I can see why. I can
Yeah, that's
understand
awesome.
now how
Yeah.
you explained it. I understand
Yeah.
what you mean. That's
Where
very cool.
yeah, so that's what I spoke on.
Yeah.
And it was all value based.
Yeah.
It was all based up because if you're not humble, then you won't allow that to occur. And it was all based around that value of
Yeah,
humility.
the humbleness.
And that's what we said when we first met you, when we first walked in the door, and you said, "Oh, you're so humble, you're so humble, and I'm so amazing to meet you." Wow, you know.
Yeah. So it's value based, and one of those is humility,
Yeah.
and it's allowing yourself to not be that, just let go of it,
sort of
and allow them to lead.
Yeah.
And then you become that coach.
Yeah.
So that was it. Yes, straightforward.
Not everybody can do that. A lot of people like that leadership.
That control and that dominance or just feeling,
and it teaches you around ego, it teaches you around being grounded, and it teaches you around, I guess, it keeps your mind open, because if you think you know everything, then you're on top of the world, eh? You've got nothing else to learn. So it allows you just to be able to do that as a leader, and people recognise that. And
and doing this sort of stuff, like sometimes certain guests, like when I was reading up about you, I find it can be quite intimidating, and you don't want to come across being somebody who doesn't. Well, what did I say to you? I said, I don't want to come across as being
as not knowing enough.
Yeah, not knowing or knowledgeable enough or understanding.
Yeah.
And one thing I really like about doing our podcast is the guests that we have on. We are learning so much from so much like from you, and and it's things that we never would have thought we would kind of come down this track, and
exactly.
It's
so
just,
imagine us not knowing as much about it. How many other people are going to learn about it as well?
So it's a hell of a job. I mean, I'm learning all the time, and I guess what I tell people is really just be yourself as a natural leader, and allow your values and self beliefs and belief system to really understand yourself first as a person before you start tagging yourself as a leader, because you can't differentiate. You are a person, and whether you're a parent, and when you leave and go to work, you're that same person. So it's just being really natural. And
true to yourself. Authentic.
Authentic, and then having your own value sets, because we're all good people. We all, whether we're Māori, Pacific, whatever, you sort of lose your way a bit, as I have, growing up and living, but just resonating again and holding those deep, and then that's how you just carry on living your life. So it worked for me.
And it probably will work for a lot of people if they just know to just be true to themselves, like you said, stay humble, have that belief system.
But a lot of it comes down to social media now, so the social media focus and influencers, and all that fake attraction, that fake attention, and that coinciding with egos. I think a lot of people would find it quite hard. Finding out who actually they are, who am I? Looking at yourself is a really difficult thing. Like being really vulnerable with yourself and really looking internally. I've done a lot of journey work and a lot of healing work, and looking at the ugly bits and really facing yourself, going, "Ooh, that's not very nice about me. I don't like that." I've been allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
It's a funny place when you come from a background like mine.
Was that sort of something that wasn't allowed?
It's just because you're always in control.
Okay.
I guess when you're commander after your name, and being through the SAS, I do like to have control of my destiny. Yeah. But when you're vulnerable, you have to allow that to happen, because you can't control it. You can't, as we say, you just can't keep cracking on. No. Because the wheels come off. And really having that acceptance and the reflection and the maturity to say, I actually need help, and it's and a lot of us, like the hardship I went through, it was very, very opening in terms of saying, yes, I am sick. Yes, I got to slow down. Yes, I need some support. Yes, I'll go and get some psychological help.
And it's okay to.
And it's okay to. It's okay to. Yeah. And I found that quite early when I became a senior police officer, and I went to a scene. I'd never done traffic, and it was quite a big scene where it was a fatality on the motorway. Oh, wow. And I turned up there and I thought, oh my goodness, what do I do? Wow. And then it was boss. And I went and spoke to a constable who was very, very experienced. And I said, tell me what you need, but you take over, because I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And I realise now it's that vulnerability that you've got to let yourself be vulnerable. It's not because you haven't got strength. and because you don't have to be a boss, or you just wing it and get it all wrong.
Yeah.
So when I got sick, it was the same thing.
Okay.
The kids always look at me, but I'm actually getting old and I'm sick. It's right to let go and have a cry and go into the bedroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that brings the realness into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've got to be real.
Yeah.
There's no point in pretending.
No.
Because it will catch up.
It will.
And then everything will crumble if you, pretend everything's okay, and it will catch up on you.
It does.
Even the strongest of people, isn't it? And the most
course.
regimented of people.
Yeah. And all the ones that hit most.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after 37 years of police and army, it hit me.
Yeah.
But the family were amazing with it.
But you pulled through.
You pulled through.
You've learned from that as
of
well.
Of course.
Yeah. Now you're teaching other people.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a hard case, isn't it?
Yeah. Very inspiring, by the way.
You are.
Oh, no.
You've got an
Yes.
amazing
See,
story.
there's a humility, eh?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you are. You're beautiful energy.
Oh,
very
no,
beautiful,
it's people, it's just, I guess at my age, is in my experiences, if somebody wants to listen, at least I can sort of give them something without being stupid about it, or big noting. It's all given in the right. It's given with the right intent, and I think people take that.
Yeah.
And if people don't, that's fine. You know, it's just helping, because I'm all about help now.
Yeah.
And growing our younger communities.
So have you ever come across people where you've seen that potential, but they haven't seen their own potential, and has it been frustrating?
God,
like, how do you get through to people like that?
All I say is, it does get frustrating.
Yeah, I bet.
But the main thing is, I've given them what I can. And
so it's up to them now.
Yeah, so it's up to them, and I'll always be there to support. But you can't ram it down people's throats.
No, it's the same like when you bring up your children, I guess.
Yeah.
You can only
you can lead a horse to water,
but you can't make them drink. And they have to
and as long as I've done my part in terms of trying to help, but I know when to back away and when to stop.
Is it frustrating to see the potential sometimes go, like if they're not willing to use that potential they have?
Yeah, I've seen it enough.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I've seen it enough, and I just think, well, I'll always be here if they need a hand.
Okay, and
a lot of them come back,
Mm-hmm.
and they do as they grow and they experience life themselves. 'Cause it's really hard for young ones.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Do you find
Really
people
hard.
from back in the day in your community coming to you now?
Yeah. So I do get called, and old people that I used to mentor, I still do now. Yeah. Even though I've left the police.
Okay.
Yeah. So they and people that sort of I've spoken to in terms of my motivation and that. So I'm always open just to, and I don't charge, in terms of communities and stuff. Oh no, gosh no.
You are amazing, aren't you?
No.
Yes, you are.
No,
Wow.
but yes.
No. I do a lot of community type based work. But some of the corporates, they want to pay me, and I'll take it.
By the
Absolutely.
way, are you for hire for all those talks, like for the corporates that want you, to come and...
Yeah.
So I'm on speaking platforms with Speakers Bureau and stuff like that, and but
We can put those links up too, can't we? We can put the links under the
Give us some links
podcast.
so
Yeah.
that people want you, because obviously...
We share the love. We share the love around, man. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Sharing's caring.
No, it's been my little journey, and even just having the opportunity.
I wouldn't
to
call
be
it a
asked
little
to come
journey. I
here.
think it's been a pretty massive journey.
Yeah, and what the future holds, it's just family, not just family, but
Being a
Grandbaby.
yeah, supporting the kids and their work, and grandparenting, and with my beautiful wife, and she still works for Ministry of Social Development. Yeah.
How long have you guys been married?
87. I'd be 35
I thought
years.
you were going to say 87
So I
years.
was like, what? Dude, you
no,
look young.
35 years. 35 years. Yeah, next October, be 35
Can I ask
years.
how you met?
We met, she worked in the office, and I was unloading trucks for the then Ministry of Works.
One of those love stories, eh?
Yeah. So I was a storeman. I was a labourer storeman, and she worked in the office. Must have seen me. I looked out the window.
Look at that big strong buff
Yeah,
man
not
over
not
there.
not so strong now. Not so strong now, I tell you. yeah.
So
So
who asked who?
I love it.
Who asked
Yeah.
who?
oh, it just happened.
It just
Oh, just evolved.
It just
35
happened.
years
Yeah,
later.
it just happened. Yeah, a couple of years before then. So I was that's when I was with Ministry of Works, and I was and she worked in the office. Yeah, and that's how we met, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I remember when we went up north to the Hokianga, and I had an afro. I would tell you, what her parents thought of me.
Oh, so is she Samoan too?
No, she's a Kiwi girl, and from a farming background up the Hokianga.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went up with my afro and my dices.
Your fluffy dice.
Yeah. So that's
Holy shit.
yeah, and then it just now we got this.
That's really cool. Wow.
3 kids and a couple of grandbabies. That's awesome.
Yeah. And,
Well done.
well, thanks for having me.
Oh, are you ready to go?
Time's up, mate. Time's up. Don't you love it? This is epic. But look what we can do. I mean, if you are willing to share and want to share, so people can click onto your talks and follow you and that sort of stuff. We'll share the links under the podcast, which is what we like to do.
Yeah.
And any contact. So nickname is
VJ.
VJ the man. Do you know, like, massive privilege. Like, thank you so much. Like really, really appreciate you coming on. And it was a very short notice. Thank you to the team. Thank you, Nutty, Will. Thank you very much. Don't you love that, Nutty? Thank you very much. Thank you, Will. And thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
For coming on and
being such an amazing human being.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Yeah.
I always take an opportunity to be able to share, and if it can make some difference in
Pretty
lives
sure
out
you
there.
will, and you probably already have.
Yeah. So when Kaz asked me, I said, "Well, if it's a platform for sharing, then I'm in."
Thank you.
Oh, thank
And for you to be doing
you.
amazing work.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're all thank you.
We need to say thank you to you. So.
And what we will do is we will post a podcast. You will all know when, and follow, subscribe. You'll be able to follow VJ here as well. Peace out. Be kind. Be nice to one another. Love you all.
And thank you for
How do you
watching.
say in Samoan? Farewell, love you, and
Tō whā soi fua, manuia lea so.
Oh, hang on. Can I say that?
Tō whā soi fua,
Tua wha,
soi fua.
soi fua.
That's it. Yeah.
love you.